We're talking with Valparaiso Mayor John Costas about public transportation in the city of Valparaiso. So this new transit-oriented development, it's going to be what, built on the west side of the city?
It's actually on the south side of our downtown area. We have a very vibrant downtown area, and this is an area south of the tracks that is fairly industrial. So many of the businesses there would like to relocate because the downtown is growing in that way. And so we're working with those businesses to acquire the appropriate parcels, and then many businesses will redevelop their own parcels. So the private sector plays a large role in the development of transit-oriented developments. Okay,
so you're hoping people, once you build it, they will come.
Absolutely, and we see the private sectors making the largest investments over time.
And we talk about bus service, and Valparaiso is really one of the few communities that has really invested a lot in bus service. But, my daughter has taken your buses around town. You can take them up to the South Shore occasionally, depending on what time of day you're going to the South Shore. But for the most part, your buses don't go anywhere else around Northwest Indiana. Is that a real limiting factor for public transit, that you're just not connected to anything else?
Well, we are kind of away. We're not next to other cities like many of the towns and cities in Lake County. They're adjacent and contiguous to other cities. Valparaiso is pretty far west, so really the purpose of it is to serve our citizens within the city and also to serve the students of Valparaiso University. Now, we do partner with the South Shore in getting our residents there, so that's our way of always trying to say this is about regional transportation, not just about local. So it's a combination of the two.
But if you really want to use this to drive jobs, don't these buses have to be able to go to Portage or then all the way back out to Maryville and Cherville and Crown Point? So you've got a real regional system where you can get on at one place and go to another community and get back at a reasonable time?
Well, I think that could be something explored in the future. Right now, the purpose of the V-Line is really just to serve our citizens. And in a lot of ways, they're to help those who are living on modest means. So a lot of the people that use it are students, are people that don't own a car or can't afford two cars. And so in that sense, it really serves all of the people well in creating those opportunities. So if you don't own a car, you can still get to your job, you can still get to the doctor's office and to the shopping centers.
What do you think stands in the way of a regional system, one that really would connect everyone in Northwest Indiana?
Well, I think it's important, first of all, that each transportation system be studied and that it be necessary and sustainable. So the question, is there a need for that justifies the expense of it? And I think that should be studied. Clearly, the need into Chicago is the greatest need because there are opportunities that exist there that would not exist in cities our size. And so that's been the focus of the Chicago Dash.
All right. And you bring up Chicago again, and you've just, the deadline just passed where you've got a new tech incubator in the city of Valparaiso, Northwest Indiana Tech Foundry, is that it?
Yes, yeah.
All right, so what are you hoping to do there? Are you hoping to lure some of these tech, instead of people driving up to Chicago, lure these companies out to Valparaiso?
Absolutely. We'll take the crumbs that fall off the table, in a sense. Chicago is becoming a tech center for various reasons. That's been occurring the last, say, 5 to 10 years. We would like to benefit from that also. So we created a tech foundry that helps people with tech ideas turn them into businesses. And it's in partnership with the IEDC, which is, of course, the state organization for economic development.
So what are you hoping to drive? What are you hoping to draw in this?
Well, we hope to attract people that have ideas, that are tech ideas, and as they turn them into companies through the help of the Tech Foundry, through support, through funding for ideas that meet the sustainable tests, to grow businesses that remain right here in the region and in the state of Indiana for jobs, because ultimately that's the end result.
Is there a concern that after the recession, people seem to be driving less, they seem to be a little less interested in commuting those long distances that they did prior to the recession? There's some talk of peak auto, that we're now driving as many miles as we'll ever drive, that it's going to start scaling back over the years, that could hurt communities like Valparaiso that have ties to Chicago but are farther out. They're a farther ring suburb than, let's say, a Dyer or a Hammond.
Well, and that's why the Chicago Dash has been so successful, and its growth has really been amazing, because it makes more economic sense to use public transportation than to drive individually. Every day, you know, we take 135 cars off the road. We have a fabulous, really, even from Valparaiso, we have a fabulous commute into the city of Chicago, much easier than many of the suburbs. And so we need to take advantage of that in various ways.
Because we don't have some of the congestion out in Northwest Indiana that they see in some of the northern suburbs.
Right. You know, certainly the improvements on the toll road have been amazing, and you know, our Chicago Dash buses are making it into the city, into the loop, in just a tad under an hour usually.
Okay. Last question before I let you go. You're in your third term as mayor. You're going to have to decide whether or not you're going to run for election next year to a fourth term. Have you made a decision? Do you want to be mayor for 20 years?
Well,
for
16. It's been a wonderful experience. I work with great people. We have a wonderful council. I'm seriously considering running next year, but we'll make a final decision in the fall.
And that's where we're going to leave it. Valparaiso Mayor John Costas, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you, Steve.